Welcome back to TC 911 Beyond the Call, the Tarrant County 911 District Podcast. This is episode 7, and I'm your host, Abbey, the Communications Coordinator at Tarrant County 911 District. And today, I am interviewing Arlington 911 Supervisor, Michaela. How are you doing today?
I am good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty fabulous. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I know you have busy schedules and doing your thing, so I appreciate the time that you've devoted to do this.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invitation.
Oh, you're welcome. I like the new arrangement in your supervisor's office.
I do too. It's a lot more open.
Yeah, it feels like, have you ever watched the movie Step Brothers?
Yes.
Where there's so much more room for activities and they make them You should have went into Rhonda's office and said, can we turn our desks into bunk desks or bunk beds or something like that? She probably wouldn't have gotten the reference, but it would have been funny. Well, yes, maybe. Exactly. I don't know. And I'm like, and then be like, there's so much more room for activities. And then come in here and kick around. Yep. Now I got to go watch that movie. That's amazing. So how long have you been at Arlington 911?
I was hired in September of 2018, and I was a dispatcher. I only dispatched for the police, and then I was trained in CIC about almost 2 years in, and then last May I promoted to supervisor.
Okay.
So I've been here for almost 5 years.
Did you dispatch prior to Arlington?
No, this was my first.
That's some fast growth. Good job.
Thank you. That's
amazing.
The opportunity. It was open, so.
Yeah. And so you said you were dispatching and then you went to the NCIC position.
In Arlington, whenever PD dispatchers, when they're efficient in their job, they can cross-train into CIC. So they're able to confirm on warrants because we don't do everything. We have call take room, fire dispatch room, police room, the CIC department, and then we also have CIC only.
Do you want to explain to everyone, our fun friends and the public, what CIC means?
So CIC is the area where we keep all of our warrants because every agency has to have warrants on hand. And since we're the ones that confirm on them, everybody, I think all over the nation, but at least in Texas, we have to keep it in dispatch to where we're able to confirm on the warrants. We keep our missing persons information, all of the cards. We have individual cards for missing people and stolen vehicles, stolen guns. So we have kind of like a room dedicated to that area where it's like files, alphabetized, numerically, however it's organized. And CIC is the department that other agencies called to confirm on warrants and missing people and all of that.
So it's kind of like folks at home, if you've listened to the other episodes, you'll start hearing a lot of more familiar things, but maybe in a different different title, how people do it. And a lot of the bigger agencies like Fort Worth and Arlington, they in Irving, like we have talked to them, they will have separate positions like call taking, radio dispatch, things like that. And it sounds like you guys have kind of the same similar thing too, of separate positions because you're so big.
Yes.
And you can do that.
Yeah, so I had somebody call in the other day who was pretty frustrated about a call taker asking multiple questions when she was calling about something on the freeway, and she was like, why did she ask so many questions? I had already given her the information. And so I explained to her that we have 3 different rooms, and the person that was taking her call was solely dedicated to taking her call, so it wasn't slowing the person that she had called about getting any help. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. That makes it, where I'm a lot less frustrated. I was just like, just get there. I don't know why you're asking me all these questions. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that people get really frustrated about in 911 communication services is the questions. Folks, I promise you that they're not just asking you questions because they love the sound of their voice or yours. It's to you have such a lovely voice. I want to continue to ask you questions. But no, seriously, it's to help each other out, and also I would say about 95% of the time, it's the fellow first responders who are asking questions over the radio for specific things as they're on their way to the location. They're asking certain questions because they're actually visually seeing the area and they need to know other things. So those questions, like Michaela said, don't hold up response time at all.
No.
They just help people get there, figure out what's going on so that they have a nice, clear visual of what to expect when they arrive on scene.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that lady was happy with, she was like, okay, I feel so much better. You know, she wasn't upset. And when she first called in, she was a little upset. So I wanted, you know, whenever the call taker asks questions, it's definitely for scene safety. They want to make sure that the officers or the fire department or the ambulance, whoever is going to be taking care of the emergency, to where they're safe as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I can understand frustration, you know, with citizens and that kind of factor. Because to them, like, I mean, to y'all, this is an everyday thing. Mm-hmm. You know, you're in it, it's an everyday thing. But to citizens, you know, emergencies and you know, other situations that could be negative that arise in their life and everything, that's not an everyday thing. Mm-mm. So I can totally understand the frustration where it's like, oh my gosh, just get here, how long, whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
And it's very common for, you know, especially when you have an emergency. I think even y'all in public safety too, even if you have an emergency too, 60 seconds feels like 5 minutes. Oh, yeah. You know, because there's such bad stuff going on. There's something bad going on, or there's a medical emergency going on. So I understand the public's frustration too, because they just want to get that. But you guys are really good, especially with the example that you just said, that, you know, calming them down, giving them the information, being transparent and being honest with them, which is the best thing ever.
Absolutely.
And she clearly was happy about that.
Yeah, she really was. Honesty is always the best policy. I say the more information you can give them, the happier they're going to be, because everyone's preconceived notions of whatever the case may be, they put their own personal spin on it, on what they're going through right now. The more information that they're able to get, the more of a clear picture they're able to understand of what's really going on.
Well, and it's like you just explained. So you have different departments. So a call taker may take the call, but then it needs to go to you said the CIC. Did I get that right? The department, like whether it's
either, if it's a fire only call, like they'll get the call, but they're never gonna, I don't want to say never, very rarely do dispatchers ever talk to the complainants or the citizens. So like there are times whenever we have to call back and we're like, hey, officers are on scene, they're wanting to know where you're at. Oh, I'm upstairs in my apartment, I'll come right down. Or, oh, I ran around the corner, I was scared, so I'll come right back. But as far as our call takers, that's exclusively what they do.
Oh, okay.
So they put all of the information into our CAD system, which is the
computer-aided dispatch.
Had a little brain fart. So they put the information into CAD, and then it pops up on the dispatcher's screen, so the dispatchers don't have to talk to the complainant.
Yeah, and everything is in real time, folks. Nothing's delayed with that. You know, it's almost like everyone is sitting around the same computer with all the messages popping up. So that was something we've covered in the past, or I've covered in the past with, you know, hey, it's actually real time. Those come up.
Yeah, it's not like an email where you have to wait for responses.
Yeah, no, it is all fast, all immediate, and everything. So it's always good to know. It's always nice to share the behind the scenes with the citizens so that they understand exactly how their call comes in and how that process works, especially in the various cities, because we're such a diverse area. Like it's amazing how different a lot of things, you know, how different dispatch centers are ran.
Oh, absolutely. Whether there's one person on duty at a time or when there's four and everybody does everything. I mean, it's very different.
Yeah. Oh, it's super different. I don't know how the single dispatchers do it.
Me either.
I bless their hearts. They're amazing. I couldn't. I've been in one dispatch center in one of our smaller agencies, and that gal was rocking it. There was a bunch of stuff going on at the same time, because just because one emergency's happening somewhere else doesn't mean they all stop. Like, oh wait, let's wait because we have a 4-alarm structure fire over here or something.
Exactly.
They will keep on coming, and this gal was just like. She was like, it was like, what is it, orchestrating. I mean, she was just doing her thing and directing that. I mean, I was just blown away.
That is awesome.
Wow. I'm like, you're amazing. And what's nice about the bigger agencies, you do have a buddy system. Hey, can you call Encore for me? Hey, can you,
Oh, absolutely.
If stuff gets really bad, y'all can like look at your, your fellow dispatchers and be like, hey, do you mind getting this for me or finding that for me or whatever?
So we have 4 sides of town. So we have 4 dispatchers in what we call the circle. And then we have a person who sits a little bit farther away who gives those people breaks. And I'm telling you, probably 1 to 2 times a month, we'll get like a group message on our... It's kind of like our kudos board. It's called Guardian Tracking. It's how we track all the positives, all of their QA, everything to make sure that they're, staying up on their quality assurance. It's also how we track our discipline. But I'm telling you, once a month, I'll get a comment from somebody who says, we had this going on and this going on and a pursuit, and we had this, and this person stepped in, and this person made this call, and this person called Air One, and this person, like, just praising their team. Because
that's so amazing.
Isn't it?
That's my gosh. Amazing.
Yeah, so we have, it's a good crew. We have a really, really
I like that. I like hearing that. And you guys, now, are you guys currently hiring?
Abby?
Yes, ma'am.
Do dispatchers like coffee? Or energy drinks, or candy.
Yeah. Shout out to Monster if you ever want to help dispatchers out.
Yes, or Red Bull.
Send a case. Send a case to all North Tarrant.
Absolutely.
North Tarrant 911 centers. They would love it.
Yep. My new favorite is Celsius.
Yes. What's Celsius? I haven't even heard. I don't even drink energy drinks.
Oh my gosh, they're just, I don't know if they're sugar free, but I feel like less crazy than Monster or Red Bull. I feel a little healthier drinking them. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not drinking diabetes.
That's going to give you the case of the sugars.
Yes, it won't.
Drinking diabetes. Oh my gosh. So it's called Celsius. Are there different flavors, like fruit flavors?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it just kind of...
if you go to QT, there's probably like 6 rows of different flavors of Celsius. And they're good.
Yeah, that's interesting. Great. Now I got to tag them in this.
Now you do.
I'm gonna be honest, and this is just me, and I've never been a coffee drinker, even when I was a 911 dispatcher. No, you're giving me that look. She's giving me this look like I'm insane. I am naturally just
high energy.
I
never would have guessed that. I never would have guessed.
Yeah. Yeah. You could make a little sarcasm there.
Maybe just a little bit.
But I never drank coffee. And I worked in midnight shifts.
How did you stay awake?
Hamster wheel.
The brain. I
just kind of did it. But so anyway, I didn't drink any coffee. I didn't drink anything with caffeine. I gave up caffeine like in, I think, the year 2000. A long time. And so the point being is that I think one time in like 2008, I tried Red Bull came out around that time. I don't know. And I tried it.
Did you feel like you were having a heart attack?
No, I took one sip and I thought, well, no, I actually opened it up and I was like, this smells like vomit.
Really?
Like, it just smells, I don't like the smell.
It just smells it's very acidic. So I could see.
I don't know about that. Like acids from your stomach. Then that's then that's what. So I mean, no, all you Red Bull drinkers out there, you know what? To each their own. Don't listen to me. This is just my Abbey side of things. Clearly, so clearly I am an exception to
Definitely.
all of the caffeine rules and stuff.
That's okay.
But yeah, I know a lot of people that drink a lot of Monsters and Red Bulls, and now you're saying Celsius is the new way to go. So dispatchers out there, or anybody that works the third shift or works long hours, I guess go try some Celsius. I guess that might be good. So how many of those do you drink?
I limit myself to 1 a day.
Oh, what's that big old mug filled with?
This is water.
Okay, good.
Yes,
good,
ice water,
good.
and then I have.
And then there's a Starbucks right there.
4 shots of espresso with cream.
4 shots of espresso.
Yes, but my body's used to it.
Yeah. So if you don't have it, then you get the shakes or something. Curl up in a ball and rock back and forth.
Like by the 2nd or 3rd day, I have a headache. Like I could tell it's an addiction. but and I've kicked it multiple times.
You know, the biggest milestone is admitting that you have a problem.
My name is Michaela. I have a problem.
I love caffeine.
Yes. I sent Mitch, my supervisor partner.
Shout out to Mitch. We love Mitch.
Mr. Pennywell. He's the best. I sent him a message. I had to go get my drug of choice, and I put in parentheses caffeine. So.
Yeah, make sure you really emphasize that, because you know you don't want a keyboard error and be like, oh God, I just hit send.
No.
And now people have to guess.
Yeah, randomly drug tested.
How did this come about? So back to what we were talking about.
Hiring.
Absolutely. So I'm going to say yes, which, you know, I always enjoy asking that. Matt, do I know the answer? Yes, I do, because you guys have been on our website, and you guys keep it open all the time.
Honestly, our hiring team, shout out to our hiring team, Nika and Yvonne and multiple
Yvonne
others
too.
Yes.
I think anybody named, I've never met a bad Yvonne.
Our Yvonne, I love Yvonne Crum. She's so sweet. Yeah. But our Yvonne, she's actually promoted to training assistant. So, but she's still on the floor because we're short staffed. So, we're putting together some plans to see if we can possibly shake things up a little bit with our shifts. I know a lot of agencies do 12s. We still do 5/8s. And with the possibility of having overtime the 4 hours prior to your shift or the 4 hours after your shift. So
which one do you prefer? 4 hours prior or 4 hours after?
Definitely 4 hours prior. I would rather come in at 02:30 and leave at 2:30 p.m. because you still feel like you have daylight. If you have stuff you need to do, you can still do it.
And now correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going like another Abbey input here. So I think a lot of people, I used to hear from a lot of people like, oh man, you probably get home and just crash. But I didn't, because you still are like, you get out and your body's just like, oh, it's sunny out and now I'm up and I'm awake. And then I wouldn't go to sleep maybe for like a while. I'd go do some stuff, you know.
So you worked midnight?
Yeah. So I would usually get off at 7 a.m. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm kind of awake. The sun's out. People are going to work. I loved it because you can go get stuff done, or if you want to go to Six Flags, there's no lines because everybody's working. But then I wouldn't go to bed until like maybe 2 in the afternoon. I'd get all this stuff done, but I was awake.
What time did you have to be back at work?
I think it was like, I think we were doing the 7s to 7s at that time. I can't remember. It's been, oh my God, like almost 7 years ago. So it's,
yeah, so that's not enough sleep. That's definitely an Abbey.
No, I don't think we were 7 to 7s. I think we were 8 hours, but it wasn't. So that would have been, yeah. So, but I just remember like, I was like, I am up, man. I can't really pass out.
Well, it's super weird on midnight shift because you kind of never feel like you're getting enough sleep. Yeah. But at the same time, if you're working the total opposite schedule, so you're going to work at 10:30 in the morning, you don't feel like you've got to go to bed. Like you're not near as exhausted. You go to work at 10:30 in the morning, you get off at 6:30 p.m.
It was 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Okay,
there we go. I was thinking of that. There, boom. That's that hamster. It woke up. So, but yeah, it was. So it'd be like that. So that was a bit later. But then if you had overtime, you'd have to go in obviously earlier than that or stay after. I actually preferred staying after.
Okay.
I stayed after a lot.
I think I liked staying when I was on midnight shift. I think I liked staying after because the crazy busy, that's the only part of the dispatcher in me that isn't like, I don't like the crazy. I don't like the wild because that means that there's emergencies. So I'd rather it be calm and peaceful and be able to.
How's that working out for you?
Mostly good.
I like the calm and oh yeah, really? Okay.
Yeah.
How's that working?
On midnight shift, it was great. For a while, actually, not for a while. We still have people who do like hobbies. They'll bring in like the diamond paintings, or they'll do
diamond paintings,
like where you have like all of the diamonds and like you
paint by numbers or something.
It's like that, but it's with little rhinestones.
Oh,
and so you get like a big portrait.
Is there anybody here right now working on it so I can go see what the heck you're talking about?
No, I don't think so. We have some a midnight shifter that does that.
Oh,
and there's
okay.
people who do like different things. But I would paint. I would actually get like watercolors. I wouldn't bring a whole lot because it's,
like Bob Ross around here.
Yeah.
And paint little happy little trees.
Little things, and it just kept me peace, kept everything like centered.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people too, like if they're going to school, they'll work on homework.
completed my degree while I was here.
Nice.
There's a lot of people who have completed degrees.
I completed my second bachelor's degree when I was in dispatch in Illinois.
That is amazing. Where did you dispatch?
Wilmington, Illinois.
Okay.
Is where I dispatched. Are you from up there in that area? Okay. Yeah. And then I went to Illinois State University was where I got my second bachelor's degree. I got my first one from Western Illinois University, and then I worked midnights, but I actually went to the university. So
wow.
I am not an online kind of person. I actually got accepted for my master's, and I did it for like a semester, and it was all online. And it was actually West Virginia University, and so because I was doing the mass communications or something like that.
So you couldn't be in person.
It was great. Everybody was super. I just can't do the online stuff. Plus, I started getting busy and busier at the district. So it was just like, do I really need this? Or whatever. But hey, I got accepted still. They loved it. They loved having someone that did like PR for 911. They thought it was interesting. So
yes, absolutely.
That's cool. But no, I would get up in Illinois. I would finish my shift at 7 a.m. and then I would go to the university to get in class by 8 o'clock, and then I would go to class till probably about like maybe 1.
Well, no wonder you didn't get done until 2.
Well, even here when I was at the agents, when I worked at the agencies here in Texas, I wasn't in school obviously, but I don't know, I'd go out ride my mountain bike. I'm like, oh, it's nice. I want to go play. And remember, no caffeine.
Girl,
I'm even as we speak and have this interview, I am wearing my bike stuff under my clothes because I'm riding my bike after that. It's 100. I think it's got 106 today or something.
It's hot,
but I like it spicy. But anyway, I would physically go to the university. And do everything, and then in the midnight shift or in the overnights, I would work on like different projects and things like that I had for my degree, and ended up finishing. And then I packed up and moved to Texas.
Yes, God's land. That is amazing. Well, congratulations.
Congratulations to you.
Thank
We both
you.
did it. Look at that. See, and you know what, folks that are listening, you could do that too. Because do you guys have tuition reimbursement here?
We do through the city. I don't know the details about it though.
Oh, okay. You don't know. Did that help your degree at all, or were you not here when you did that?
I just
or were you halfway, like already almost done?
I was pretty close to being done.
Oh, okay.
I think it took me, I want to say an additional 2 years, but I was going really slowly.
But yeah, so you can. You can do that too. You could go to school and work the midnight shift and get it done, because there's so many dispatchers like us. We did it. There's so many others that do it, and a lot of agencies offer tuition reimbursement and everything. So if you're like, hey, I really wanted to go into administrative work or city management or something like that, and what a great way to get your foot in the door and get your name out there working in the dispatch, and also getting reimbursed for half your semester. I mean,
exactly.
That would be super, because college is not getting any cheaper.
No, it is not. Especially because a lot of the universities or colleges offer the online, and not everybody needs to be in person. Some people do really well with no shade.
I like being in person. I love people. I love humans. I need to be around them. Yes.
I feel like that's how you get your energy.
Yeah. The pandemic was really hard for me. I was like, I have no interaction.
Yeah. Yes.
I was just me and my bike and Chuck the bike duck. We would just ride. And you'd see other people, like, I'd be like, hey, hello, hi over there. What's that one video? They're like, what's your name?
Tony.
What? That's a good one. I love social media. Awesome. So you guys are hiring, and I'd assume, because we've talked to so many other dispatchers and supervisors that they're going through everybody's pretty much in the hiring phase right now. You can find Arlington's link on our website at tc91.org, and you can click that. It'll take you right to theirs, or you can actually go directly to theirs if you want for the city of Arlington, and it'd be under Human Resources, HR, and then it should be able to list out that you have going on.
Mm-hmm. And we are full-fledged in the hiring process. I think we have, this is in real time. So I think we had an academy start August 1st, and we're going to have a couple more by the end of the year. So
that's good too, because you guys now have, I think you guys are at like 111 dispatchers. I think that's the last head count I got. Now that includes the medical AMR. Yeah. So that includes that. So the Arlington does have AMR sit in their dispatch center. They just kind of share the room with them and everything. And I think there's only like a handful of, I think there maybe 12 or something like that of them, but they are considered separate, but they sit in the same room. So that's where, so those that live in this area, if you've ever wondered how that works, they're actually in the same room. They can wave to each other. It's one huge room. It's kind of like how a lot of our agencies are in our district, that they'll have a secondary PSAP, secondary public safety answering point, and they just transfer it right over to them, but they're happen to be sitting right there.
Yeah, like ULIS. Don't they share with somebody, or HEB?
No, not ULIS. So North Richmond Hills uses MedStar, or no, I'm sorry, Haltom uses MedStar. Pretty much a lot of folks on the west and south part of Tarrant County use MedStar. Irving Fire is separate. Fort Worth Fire is separate. Tarrant County Fire Alarm. So a lot of folks will use them, and then they'll transfer those. So we have a few of the secondary PSAPs. MedStar, that's who we were talking about, who dispatches for pretty much the west side of Tarrant County and the southern side, so Fort Worth and Benbrook and Burleson and all the other cities that are along that side. So it's just, with you guys, it's different because they're actually in your building.
Yes, which is handy.
I would say that'd be a lot better too.
Yeah.
Because you can just, like, you can maybe go ask them, like, hey, how'd they do, or something. Because sometimes when you get a call, and I'm sure you get a little piece of it, and then you're just like, oh, I hope everything's okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah. Especially if there's, like, if it's an ongoing situation and we're trying to get updates. Sometimes, like, police officers are wondering about something that's going on with a patient on scene, and so the dispatcher will message the AMR dispatcher, and they may not get an answer right back because the AMR dispatcher is waiting. So I can, as a supervisor, run over there and be like, hey, so what's going on? Is this actually going to be in our jurisdiction? Is this going to be? And so that is definitely,
that's super handy. Yeah, that's awesome. Now, going back to the early days of Michaela's 911 career, so what did you do prior to?
Oh, girl, I worked for a promotional products company. I was just a customer service representative, and then I moved to sales, and I learned very quickly that mandatory.
I used to work in sales too, so I know exactly what you want to say, but you have to choose what you can say.
How do I say this?
Oh, your expectations of sales.
Yeah,
your expectations of sales are hard.
That pressure point, that's not a pressure point that I thrive under. So
I used to sell timeshares.
Girl, how did you
for Hyatt?
Okay.
I actually liked it.
I mean, you're such a people person.
Well, this was over the phone too, so these weren't in person, but it was. There was a trick to it though, because I don't think they do it anymore. This was a long time ago, and they would send out these flyers at the beginning of the month, and everybody who got them was a specific salary range or a specific household income. So you knew everyone you were calling was able to do this, and they were pretty much on Hyatt's preferred list and whatever. So if you did it the first of the month, if you really hauled, you did really well because none of the hotel stuffs were booked.
Oh, yeah.
So there'd be like all these great places in Florida and Carmel, California.
Hawaii.
Not Hawaii. They had only specific ones, unfortunately, but at that time. And so if you got there, if you were like really getting them early and stuff, then they'd pick all like Labor Day weekend, Memorial Day. They'd pick all these weekend dates because those will fill fast. And then some people don't want to travel during the week. And yeah, so, and I think we didn't call them. They called us. That's what the one thing was.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They actually called us, which I do have to say the funniest time was, again, they're calling us. So I actually took a call. And someone's like, yeah, I'm really interested. I got that thing in here. I want to book some dates for. And I'm explaining all the different properties. And I'm like, yeah, you have to sit through a 90-minute thing or whatever. And all this other jazz. And man, I'd sit through it to stay at somewhere for free and all this. I'd be like, okay. And so anyway, the person gets agitated all of a sudden on the phone. I don't have time to talk all about this with you. I'm really busy. And I'm the whole time thinking, you called me. Okay. For a second, I was like, did I just slip into another universe? Did something happen where I hung up and I called them back? I don't know what happened. Anyway, so yeah, sales jobs can be hard. I sold music and movies and like DVD players and all sorts of things. And
that's fun.
It was something. I mean, I was all right with it. I do love people and stuff, but I get it. Like you gotta get to the point where you're like, I need a steady paycheck where I don't have to worry about, is it going to be a good month? Is it going to, and of course, benefits are always nice.
Mm-hmm. Commissions, they are nice, but that was not for me.
And you can't count on it all the time.
Yeah. That is not good for budgeting.
No.
And then after that, I was a nanny, and I nannied these precious little kids.
Aww.
I had my little
nanny Michaela.
Yes.
Nice.
Had my baby girl since she was 5 months old, and then took her to her first day of not kindergarten, but pre-K. She cried, broke my heart, but and her older brother, he wasn't in school at the beginning, but he got into like pre-K a few years after I started, but had them for 5 years, and they were my little buds. I still see them.
Aww.
Their dad is actually an Irving police officer.
Oh, okay.
And their mom actually was a dispatcher for Irving for just a very short time.
Oh, okay.
So she kind of knew the field, and
that's really awesome.
Yeah.
That's all connected.
Yes,
that's all connected. So sales, nanny, promotions person. That's okay. And then so where did you hit the point where you're like, you know what? I'm going to wear a headset and make a difference and save some lives. So where did you be like, I want to be a 911 dispatcher?
Well, my brother is a police officer in North Little Rock, and he had told me about it because the kids were, like, I was about to lose my job, not just because the kids were aging out of nanny being needed.
No one is 21 with a nanny.
No.
At least I don't think so. If they are, okay. That works for you. That's great.
No, that would be a problem. That's enabling.
Okay.
So it took about maybe a month, and I found that Arlington, I applied for a couple of agencies, but I lived in Arlington. Like I had lived here since I was 13. So it was right down the road from my parents' house. So I applied, and actually in the process of my hiring, the guy who was working our hiring in Arlington actually had a heart attack. And he, so it took all the way from June all the way until August until I got my letter, because he was recovering for over a month. So I got the letter in August, and I said, yes, let's do this. So it was I just was on the hunt for what I was going to do next, when my job was ending, and found this, and it was just a God thing. I actually sat with Mitch before.
Super Mitch.
He's amazing.
He is amazing. The world needs more Mitches.
Yes, he is my work dad, for sure.
He's amazing.
Yes. I sat with him. I was just observing, and he told me, he's like, if they hire you, I'll train you. And I was like, what? Okay. So I got to be trained by him. And then a guy who got hired probably less than a year after I got hired, Mitch trained him, and then we all three promoted together.
Oh, that's so super. So what was the time frame when you got promoted from when you were, as in a frontline dispatcher, and then got promoted? What was the time frame there?
It was almost 4 years.
Okay, that's good. So, I mean, like we said in the other podcast, y'all, there's growth in dispatch. You can climb. You can climb up the ladder. You can become a supervisor, and things change. so often in this career.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, people may go to another agency, they may retire, they may be like, hey, you know what, I've been going to school to be a culinary chef and I'm finally done, so I'm going to move on. And now there's a management position open. Now there's a supervisor position open. Maybe there's, you can be a training officer.
Oh, absolutely.
For 911 and stuff. And there's room to grow.
So for Arlington, in 2018, we went through a pretty big overhaul. So we hired 8 new supervisors and two managers. So pretty much everyone that's in management, I would say 70% are new. Not new to the agency, but new to our positions. So Rhonda's been here for however many years. And so we have that to say, our most senior supervisor right now, I think, has been here for 11 years. So there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of opportunity for growth.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's good to know, you know, because, you know, folks coming into new jobs and everything, you want to see, okay, what does it look like for me in 5 years? What is the potential? And in careers at 911, there are potential to grow. And so, you know, I'm sure if they have any questions or anything, they can reach out to, you know, your HR department, ask about that kind of stuff, you know, get online and, you know, somehow connect with y'all with that kind of information and whatnot. And, you know, go and apply either, like I said, on the TC 911 district site. You can see them listed on there, or on the actual City of Arlington site too. So looks like it's been a great career for you.
Absolutely.
It's so interesting because you seem like you've been doing it longer because of your demeanor and everything. I'm like, gosh, she's got it together. This is great, you know. But because 2018, to me, I mean, heck, 2005 doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't.
In 2018, I'm like, okay, well, I've been at the district since this 2016. So I'm like, so when it starts going into those years, I'm like, oh, well, that's not that long.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, that's great. You promoted that quickly into a supervisor role. But then you're like, you do the math, you're like, oh, that's like 4 years. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
You could accomplish high school in that time frame. But that is really quick to move up and get another position like that too.
Absolutely.
And even if you're interested in it, that's great. If you're not and you just want to stay on the dispatcher level of it and not have any authority, kind of, if you will, then you can stay and do that.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of people just like, you know what, I just like to do me and do this job and punch in, help some folks out, punch out, and go home.
Absolutely. There's a lot. I feel like the job has a different type of stress in that sense, but I definitely understand the perks of just staying a floor employee, because
I can get it too. I never did this. I didn't really want to do the supervisor thing either. Nothing for anything bad. I like just coming in, doing my thing, and then, you know, go out and do your, you know, whatever. But you can also be a training person too. You could be a training supervisor or training CTO.
A CTO. We love our CTOs. I don't think our CTOs get enough praise, honestly. Like, they're training the next generation, and it's hard because there are some people who this industry requires a lot of multitasking, and that's not for everybody. Some people are just like one task at a time, very methodical. This industry, you have to be able to know kind of 6 things at once at all times, and so it's not for everyone. So our trainers, it's a lot of emotional, it's very emotional for them, because they're pouring out all of their energy, and they're investing so much into someone, and it may pan out and it may not, and it's not anything that they're doing wrong or anything that
you tried something and it didn't work out. Like, if I went to go try out at Texas Ballet and you know what, I just am not a good fit to be a ballerina. You know, doesn't mean I'm a horrible person or a lack of intelligence or physical ability. It's just not my thing.
Exactly.
I wasn't put on this earth to be a ballerina.
Your toes are not that strong.
No, they are not that strong at all. Or to be an astronaut or a mathematician. So there's just, we all have our fits.
Yes.
where we fit in, and that's okay to try things out. But, you can say that you tried it, you put your effort into it. But majority of the time, some of the, a lot of the trainers in here and other cities in our district, they're really good. They're so experienced, and they have so much passion for the job, and that they want to bring in that next group of like, hey, you can do this too. I started like this, and It's okay.
Yes, they are amazing. I love our
That's
group
awesome.
Of trainers.
I love to hear that. So that could be something else that if you're interested in a career in 911 and you want to come apply at Arlington, you can, be a CTO trainer and help train the next group in, and really make a imprint in someone else's life as they grow. As someone's going to make an imprint in your life as you come in, you pay it forward.
Here's a really cool thing. A lot of times whenever the new class comes in, they'll teach everybody who's on the floor something, or they'll teach their trainer something that has been implemented and not spread to the floor yet. So it's being taught in class. Hey, there's a new type code. Hey, there's a new shortcut for XYZ. And they'll teach their trainer, and they're like, wait, that's a thing? I didn't know you could do that. And so they'll spread it. So the newest group are actually teaching too.
Oh,
so that's
great. Okay. A little back and forth there.
Absolutely.
Because technology continuously changes in the 911 industry, which it should, because, we have, 911 has to keep up on not only phone technology, computer technology, but even the internal structures of how you guys run people and do your, warrants and everything that you do, in a kind of almost a clerical sense of all those programs have to be updated also. And then the state will change stuff. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh no, you don't do that now. You got to put it here.
Yeah.
Normally it's like little things like, oh, you used to use a semicolon and now you don't have to. Or
now
something.
It's a comma. Now it's a space.
It's always little things like that.
Yep.
You're like, okay, either that's really sufficient in the code or someone has a sense of humor.
Yeah. Well, specifically with semicolons, we used to have to do, whenever we had our old CAD system, they didn't have to use semicolons. Well, this new CAD system, it required it for anything, and it threw a wrench in like the veterans. Like they
were
been
so
doing
used to
for
it
so long.
Yeah, a lot of times it's habitual keystrokes. You'll just do it. Your hands just go there, and boom, then you've already done it. And when things do change, it is difficult, and I completely understand it, because you got folks at home, like, you got to understand these people, they're here sometimes 12 hours at a time, and when you're doing it for that long, 5 times a day or whatever, you're used to that kind of thing, and that's all they do. So some jobs like mine, I'm not sitting on my keyboard all the time. I'm out and about and doing stuff, so there's no like real repetition. So when you throw something out there, it totally is like, oh gosh, it's almost like you take the same way to work every day.
Yeah, and then you realize,
and then all of a sudden the streets shut off and you got to go down another way.
Yes.
You're just like, your whole world is like, oh my God, this is it. I'm done.
Exactly. I've definitely had it to where, like, the last 5 minutes of my ride, I didn't realize I was driving. It was so mental memory, like whether I was exhausted or whatever. And that's how it is when we're dispatching. It's just like dispatching this person, putting them en route, and putting this comment in this call, and putting this traffic stop, and it's so repetitious. It definitely becomes more mental memory.
Yeah. You all do a lot, and all the dispatchers out there nationwide do an amazing job, and I am so proud of all y'all and what you do, and the public. I know I can confidently speak for the public that they put you guys on the pedestal that you deserve. They think that you're all amazing, and this is everyone. I've go to a lot of cities, and they're always like, oh, we had to call them, and then they were so nice, and they got, they did everything they could to help us out and got us the help we needed, and they're just like, they just need more recognition. They need this. The public loves 911 dispatchers. They know what you're doing. They totally get what you guys are doing.
Well, we love the public.
They totally get it.
We do.
Well, that's awesome. So, Michaela, I really appreciate your time today. This was fun.
Yes, absolutely.
See, it wasn't
Thank you.
It wasn't that scary. You could tell everybody, that wasn't bad at all.
It wasn't bad at all.
It was a good time. I mean, come on. Did you really think that I would come all over here and be like, all right, let's seriously do a pod? Do I seem like I would do a serious podcast?
No, I can't imagine you keeping a straight face for very long.
I can't do it. We have to have a giggle. We have to share some fun stories, plus it makes it a little bit more entertaining, and, people get to know that, hey, there are some wonderful personalities in 911 and talented people too.
We need all the personalities.
Yes.
Come in,
bring your personalities,
Absolutely.
bring your paint by numbers or diamond by numbers or whatever thing your guys
color. We do coloring books. We have.
That's fun. And you guys did decorate your dispatch center too.
Yes.
Like I just walked in here, I'm like, oh hey.
It's still decorated for
the 4th. Oh yeah, that's so you guys. You guys still decorate. You guys decorate your dispatch center too, because I walked in. You guys have your thin gold line flag that you pin up. It's always the same wall, and it always changes every time I come here.
Yes,
there's always something new. Are you going to decorate for
Halloween?
That's
Halloween and Christmas are our main ones. The center is very, very transformed. We did one a couple years ago that was The Nightmare Before Christmas.
That was the Christmas decorating contest.
That was my favorite.
Which we had this conversation with some folks at Irving.
Really?
Yeah. The whole thing with Irving and the decorating contest?
No.
Okay.
There's tea?
There's tea. I'm still learning these new terms. That's one of them. When you say, "Oh, tell me the tea." Oh,
yes.
I get it. Spill the tea. I thought of like when I was in, how they like dump the tea in the Boston Heart. Hey, I remember that. So if my history teacher's listening, he'll be like, "Oh, wow, Abbey was paying attention." And so anyway, but so I used to host these Christmas decorating contest, and that was the night before Christmas. But then, the pandemic happened, and that we had just a lot of different changes and stuff. So it was people just weren't in they kind of needed a break and didn't have a lot of time to be like, hey, we kind of need some time to build stuff back up, and
also the funds. Everything was just kind of on
everything
lockdown.
is just kind of So, but Irving has always been the one. It's like been everybody's biggest competitor.
Oh,
so. Ask someone. I'm trying to think who you can ask. Well, Mitch would know. If you ask Mr. Pennywell, he would know. And just be like, Irving 911 decorating contest, or TC 911 decorating contest. Irving, go. And then he'll be like, oh, they're so hard to beat and stuff and everything. So it's tough. It makes it so hard for me. I'm like, oh God, because I want everybody to win.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to be upset.
Okay,
or
Abby, tell me, what are the tips and tricks? What are you looking for?
I actually give them when I send the email out. And you've been here since it goes to supervisors, though.
Yeah,
it would go to the supervisors. Right. So the last one we would have had, I think, was the Snoopy one.
Oh yeah, that was before I promoted.
Yeah, so I think it was the Snoopy one, and I want to bring it back. I just have to hold off and see what we're going to do, because I know there's so many changes in a lot of our dispatch centers in the county and stuff, so I don't want to spring something out. And then the hardest part is I got to have people participate, because I can't have like 3 centers, and then that's not really competition.
I mean, no,
that's not really. I like.
It would be an easy win for us.
One year there was like 17, and I was like, "Oh, it's gonna get real."
That's awesome.
People were savage. No,
yeah,
it was good. It was savage in a fun way. Like everyone was good. I like creativity. Like, don't just go buy something and hang it up. Like, I like when people actually like, hey, we cut out this, we drew this, we built this. I love creativity. I love humor. I love Easter eggs. So if there's stuff that I have to find or whatever, what was some of the other tips all these tips were shared with everybody. So if there's anybody else listening, be like, we didn't know that. No, it was all shared with everyone in my email. If they read my email completely through.
Oh my gosh, you always do that though. There was this one year where you talking about. You entered it into the email, and then you were like, if you respond to this email,
you get a shirt or something. I had to. I was like, I got to put something. It was like, if you've made it this far, email me and I'll get you a shirt or something.
I for sure read that email.
Yeah,
all the way through.
And I would do that so I could give you the email. And I should bring that back.
Yes.
And so it was tough to have, bring it back. But that year that we had the 17, it was great because I had 3 separate categories for large agencies, medium agencies, and small agencies, because I try to make things as fair fair as possible.
Someone who has 8 employees can't compete with a agency that has.
A lot of them do an amazing job, like Benbrook and even DWG, like really Pantego. Those gals did an amazing job too. You know, they just get together and they make use of the space that they have.
Yeah,
and it just blows me away. And I'm like, oh my gosh! It used to be snacks. Snacks were always like, oh, if you got good snacks, but because of my health restrictions now, they have to be specific snacks. So they have to be like, no sugar added or sugar free, low sodium, no dairy, vegan or plant based. Yeah. So the last one that we did, or the last one I did, I think Mansfield had some salt-free almonds for me.
Oh, that's sweet of them.
I was so hungry too.
You were like, yes.
I've been on the road like all day, and I can't stop really for a lot of places because it's not like I'm stopping at the Mickey D's or Taco Bueno or anything like that, or the good old Whataburger. I do say I do miss myself a good patty melt, but my vascular and my vascular team and my cardiologist probably are okay with that. I can't.
Yeah, they're like, no, ma'am, that's not allowed.
That's not going to be good. But man, those are so good. Make something plant-based. Whataburger, come on, plant-based. So it'll get there. I think there's more options now. But anyway, so that's kind of the tips and tricks for that. So I'm hoping to bring that back, maybe not this year, but maybe next year or something like that, and kind of start off. Plus, I feel like there'd be a whole new refresh of people.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of people have retired and gone to different places, and moved up in their own department or whatnot. So I don't know. We'll have to see. And
that
then you
sounds
can be
great.
like, I'll have to think of a theme. I think we've done National Lampoon's Christmas, Snoopy, Polar Express. One year I gave y'all like a bunch of options. Like you could pick one. I think it was I can't remember. You know what? Thanks to the pandemic, everything's a smear.
I know.
Between like early 2020 and now.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a wash.
So anyway, Michaela, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on moving up and doing such a phenomenal job here at Arlington 911. I'm sure everyone here can say, oh yeah, we got ourselves a great one moving up here. So
that's very,
you never
very
know.
kind.
Someday Rhonda may pass the torch on to you. You never know how that may go. Life is a funny thing. But I definitely appreciate your services here at Arlington. I appreciate all the dispatchers here. And you guys are one in a million because not everyone can do the job. So there's a little something special about 911 dispatchers.
Well, thank you. And we appreciate you, Abbey.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. So thank you, everybody, for listening today. You can catch a new podcast every Monday. We're going to be continuing to hear from our 911 supervisors and managers here in the Tarrant County 911 district area. And until next time, have a fabulous week.